Straight skills.
Yeah, it's on it. I go the whole nine and don't hold back. Only phonies flex with a Kodak. When it's old time, I get more back. So I yellow bone, quit it, give me Bodak. Yeah, she like all of my rhymes, she let me know. She want all of my time and she let me know. But I don't wanna lie, so I let them know. Baby girl, that won't fly, no, you know. Yeah, know you want me for the wrong things. Probably cause you see a Togo top ting. And probably cause your man be a flop ting. Probably make you wanna have my offspring. Don't clock in, I'm big bossing. Who's knocking? Them big face Franklins. Big rich, smart moves, big profit. Way too many mushrooms. All night in it, yeah. I like it.
Here we go. Welcome to another episode of the Back of the Class podcast. My name is Will, and today I'm joined by three guests. They are the three lead actors or co-actors from the new Tongan film Red, White and Brass. Brothers, thank you for coming on.
Oh, shot for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Shot for having us, brother.
Yeah.
If we can start at the end, if you guys can just quickly introduce yourselves and yeah.
No, sweet. Hi, my name is Demetrius Shusta Kolomatangi. I am from the villages of Whasimoafi in Tonga and Sinamonga in Samoa. And yeah, happy to be here, brother. Thank you for having me.
Yo, what's up, fam? It's John Paul Foliaki. I am from the villages of Mawhanga, Whasi, Whale Vai Vava'u and Utungake Vava'u, and from South Auckland.
Yo, malolele, my name's Hans Whaavai Jackson, half Niue and half Tongan. Mawhanga and Taonga Vava'u from Tonga, Mutalau Hakupu Alofi from Niue. And yeah, shot for having us, brothers.
Oh, thanks for coming on, man. We'll start with the film. I don't want to give away anything about the film, so I want everyone to go watch it themselves. But how's the reception been for you guys being here in Australia? Obviously, you guys are already trending in New Zealand, and I heard that the community here were asking for you to come. How's that been for you guys?
Yeah,
It's solid.
it's been crazy.
It's been incredible. Just to see the amount of people that have shown up. Yeah. Tongans, of course, but non-Tongans as well.
Yeah. Because when I watched the movie last night, I'm Samoan, but bro, you feel everything, that goes on in that movie. It's just the only thing that's different is the language. You know what I mean? Have you guys had a moment where you're like, this is sort of surreal? Did you guys ever think you guys would be touring with a movie?
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I kind of felt like, holy shucks, we have something real special was the Wellington Premiere.
Yeah.
It was down at, what was the theatre called? The massive...
I have no idea what it's called,
Embassy.
but it's one of the biggest
Embassy
theatres.
Yeah, the Embassy Theatre was massive and it was packed out. And then after the film, what's it called? We got a standing ovation. Everyone, and I was going in quite nervous. I was like, shucks, I don't know if these are gonna find it funny. It might be dry to them. We don't know. But then they gave us a standing ovation. Or these Tongans packing out the theater. There was flags in the theater as well. That, and just kind of sitting back and watching it. I was like, holy, people love what we've made. This is, we've got a little gym here, and
Yeah.
that was kind of the first moment. I was like, oh, yo, we've done well.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Can imagine that. What about the you guys had the Sydney Film Festival? You guys had your movie played there with or Taika and all that there?
Yeah, so Taika Waititi is actually co-executive producer with Kathu Neil of Red, White and Brass. So he came through obviously to show support because he was in the area, I guess, but it was so cool to see him. But just, Sydney Festival is, I think, the third festival that that Red, White and Brass has been in. So also had the Hawaii Film Festival and the LA Asia Pacific Festival. And it's been consistently, I guess, overwhelming in a way that we're receiving so much love for the film regardless of where we are.
Yeah.
From Tongans and non-Tongans.
Did you go to any of those ones?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be able to go to both Hawaii and LA. And one thing that I can definitely say is what you said, the Tongans show up regardless.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and there's a lot of excitement for the film to be taken to wherever it hasn't been taken yet. But it's so cool to see that regardless of where where we are, man, Tongans are showing up and showing heaps of love.
Yeah, man. With the film, did you guys have any prior experience with instruments?
With brass instruments?
Yeah,
Nah,
like
never played a brass instrument in my life, man. So this was a whole new experience, man. But we're lucky enough to have the actual band that played in the World Cup back in 2011, and they were kind of showing us the ropes and stuff too. So in between takes, we'll be learning whole different songs. I think we learned like a Drake song, eh? Yeah, and there was us, and then everyone just got sick of us playing.
That's crazy. What about you guys? Like,
No,
Same. There was no experience. Hey, Hans is being humble. He's mean on the guitar. If you hear him on the gat, holy hecker. I used to just go to his room like during when we'd have breaks just to like hear him play. Like he's mean. But with the brass instrument, hey, I'm Aloe.
I'm lucky I didn't I didn't have to play an instrument, so I'm thankful for that because ain't nobody got time to try and learn no finger placement. And we had 8 weeks, I think, to film it, just under 8 weeks. But the boys killed it, and everyone else that was in the cast killed it. And like Hans was saying, we had the actual band on set, the family band, the Taulanga All band from the church down in Wellington. Noah, who's the co-writer, he's part of that church band, and it's about him and his church. So to have them on set was super helpful, and they could actually, because you can like learn to pretend to play, but you still have to carry in a certain way, march in a certain way. So
like those little details,
Little nuances,
Yeah. But you're an artist too. Yeah, you're just touring with the Silk.
Yes, that's why when you were playing Sione's set, I was like, yo, this dude killed it, man. It was bomb to meet him. But yeah, we just finished the Silk tour here in... Oh no, actually our last stop was in Brisbane, but we started here in Sydney.
Yeah. I love that guy. Like I full reach out to him if I could use his music for the podcast.
Yeah, man.
So we use that song and then the Fast is like midway song like for a break.
Yeah, not me ruining your intro. I was like, who's that? I thought that was you. I was like, I thought we were the actors.
Yeah, it's my part-time gig. It's like this real deep voice that I can cinematic stuff. That's bad. What about so are you guys full-time actors? How did that how did the whole thing come about? You guys
Shucks. Oh, for me, I studied back in graduated from this place called PIPA, Pacific Institute of Performing Arts, back in 2014. And I started off with theatre, a lot of theatre, just how I was smashing out there, and that was kind of my training ground. And then slowly got into more screen and stuff. So I think my first screen work was Hibiscus and Ruthless. And then just from there, just getting the knack of it and falling in love with both platforms, but still got love for the theatre stage.
Yeah, I studied, so I took the university route and I graduated in 2019. Worked in corporate for just like under a year and I didn't like it, but I always loved doing creative art. So I jumped out of that, but just before finishing, I started making music. I got some cool opportunities through there, but then, once I was working full-time, it's kind of like that reminder, like, man, like I wasn't doing any music or anything creative at that time, so I jumped out and then did a theatre show, carried on making my music, and then I just was looking out for any opportunities to do anything creative, actually. And then, the acting stuff came up. So I was very lucky to be able to get a role in Red, White and Brass. It's been quick. But it's been bomb. I'm blessed and grateful.
mad.
Hard. My kind of road to getting in the industry was like a bit random. Like I'm like really blessed to be where I am right now. Like I kind of fell into my lap, but at the same time, it was like I had to work for it. Like I was coming out of school. I just had like happened to meet the right people at the right time. And then, they kind of saw my work ethic while I was, still in school, and then put my name forward like months later for some auditions and stuff. Didn't have an agent or anything. And then, fell into it that way. But not working full time in film just yet. Fingers crossed. Hopefully, one day.
That was the question. That he's working full time in acting.
Hopefully, one day. It's kind of hard, like right now, like especially in New Zealand. Being a New Zealand actor, it's hard to hold it down like full time. Being able to pay bills and live. Just because the work it's quite inconsistent. It's not as like
Unless you're like a Shortland Street actor.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
Unless you're booking jobs, you know, back to back to back.
Yeah.
It's like you have to hustle. You know.
You want to roll here?
Yo, please.
You want to roll here?
Anyone got a roll, please?
We've been going,
Hit me up.
I think we've been paid 8 bottles of Otai.
I'll take it. Sold.
As long as I'm full, sir.
So what do you guys do when you aren't acting?
I'm a teacher aide at Manureo High School. Looking after this group of boys that are disengaged and school doesn't really fit them, and just looking after them. And then it's good enough because they're a job that they're flexible. So when I do have jobs like kind of acting jobs and stuff, they let me have time off.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm not working at the moment, so yeah, I'm fun employed. I just have fun when I can. Wait for my next auditions. But yeah, focusing now, especially after the tour, working on my music. I love writing as well, so just making my own work, whether that's, I don't know what that might look like. I've got a few ideas, but honestly, otherwise I stay home and sleep. I love sleeping, and I look after my nana. She lives with us.
oh, shout out, Nana.
Yo,
Shout out. And what we do. What's it called? I'm in my last year of study. At UT, studying communications. Just trying to bang that out, get that out the way, and then I just work like random jobs here and there. Right now, currently working at Royal Hype Shisha. Come through.
Let's go.
where is it again? That's Bro Lake.
Bro, like, if
that's
you're in
fine.
Auckland, come through.
Yeah.
It's mad because obviously you need a side thing to fund what you actually want to do.
Yeah.
That's sort of like a missed thing that people think, oh, we're just gonna go do this, but if you're not working towards it, it's sort of like you're just going in circles, or you're gonna be sitting in the same spot for thinking, oh, why aren't this happening? Why ain't that happening? But you didn't put any work, to fund your dream, because obviously dreams are free, but the rest of it is
Gotta make it
When
happen.
they're in your head.
hard.
Nah, yeah. I was. It's like a massive part. I was just literally talking about this to one of my mates, and coming off the back of the Silke tour, dreams are free, and you can believe in yourself as much as you want and put in all the effort. But the another side of that, of being an artist, is you need someone else to either believe in you and give you an opportunity to put you on a stage and showcase the talents that you have, or provide you with the resources to make sure to make that dream happen. So yeah, it is expensive. Definitely have to have a side hustle or some sort. Even I was lucky enough to get a few acting gigs after the movie. So getting, I guess, funds and stuff for my music, that was cool. I wasn't struggling in terms of needing to work on the side, but also doing music and wanting to do it properly and create music videos or content that's out the box or different to other artists. That stuff gets expensive. So I definitely feel for a lot of our artists that are trying to make it work.
That's important too, you just need your point of difference, something to make you stand out from, because it's a bit saturated at the moment, and then you need something that's going to make you different,
And you gotta love it too, man. You gotta
100%.
You gotta love what you do. There's a lot of people that I know that hard out talented. They got it all, but they just don't put in the work. So that's when hard work always beats talent.
We all know those guys.
Bro,
From
there's so many.
every
man.
neighborhood has those guys, whether it be sport, whether it be creative stuff. They're just out the gate talent, but they just don't follow up.
Yeah,
with it, what I mean?
yeah. So gotta love the passion, man. Gotta put in that work, put in those hours.
How do you practice as an actor? This is a genuine question.
You go this. Okay, scenario is
do you go home in the mirror, or you guys doing it together? Because I feel if you're a shy person, you might feel a type of way doing what people. Maybe you go home. How do you guys do it?
Shucks. I'd love to say that I do that at home, but I don't. But shucks, I don't know.
You don't really need to be practicing your craft, but yeah.
I mean, I love movies. I watch a lot of movies, and then I just kind of ever since getting into this whole acting stuff, the way I watch movies is way different now. Mm-hmm. So that's I guess that's a bit of homework there. But in terms of training the craft, the most that I do is probably during theater rehearsals, because that's more of a back-to-back rehearsal kind of thing, as opposed to with screen, how you get to only have a certain time to act with the other actors.
That's still mean
practice your
as.
lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but yeah,
I think I feel like always that's not necessarily taking your own time out, but I mean you're like doing actual acting or rehearsing. So that's cool. Honestly, I think I need to be doing more of that. Honing on my craft. But it's like because I also do music and I love doing like styling with my mates and photography or whatever. It's like by the time I get to like wanting to put time aside to specifically focus and like I guess study the craft and stuff, I just want to chill. I am wanting to focus on it a bit more. But I'm telling you right now, my practice is with me and my friends going, the scenario is, and we just make up random characters. And it's a gata, because everyone's an actor.
Yeah.
But yeah, need to do it a bit more properly, I guess, more formally.
Following up from that, if you all go through, like, do you guys feel like you guys as a person to the role you guys played in the movie, there's like mad similarities? So like, so it's almost... Obviously, when you guys watch the movie, you'll see his role. But like, so when you said if you don't practice as much, but you get given this role where you're actually like, I don't have to go too much out of myself to play this role. And I should ask the loners, like, does that go hand in hand when you're casting? Like, do they have to give off the certain vibe to meet that requirement of the role? Did you guys see any similarities in yourself and the role you guys played in the movie?
Definitely. With my character, because when you watch the film, Vinny, I play Vinny. He's the plastic one, in the group. And growing up, like I'm both Samoan and Tongan, not fluent in like both, and all that would cop all the jokes, whatnot, getting called the plastic one, and I don't know, like it was I really enjoyed playing Vinny, not gonna like, because it's a real like exaggerated version of myself. But like, being able to kind of show islanders like, there's not just one way to rip your culture. There's not just the one way to be Tongan. There's not just one way to be Samoan. Whatever, like if you're Tongan, you're Tongan. And whatever way you choose to express that, that's you, and it's solid. And just giving that confidence to people now. Like I've had people like messaging me like, oh bro, like I've connected so much with your character. It's given me like the confidence, to learn the language, to go a step further and try and immerse themselves in the culture. Because when you're like, even when you're plastic, you kind of had that shame and that embarrassment, like from other islanders, like, and you run away from your identity, you run away from who you are and try not to even like be caught in a cultural setting. Or
it's almost like you're
right.
Like, don't ask me a question and like in Tongan or Samoan, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And then even like trying to learn the language, there's that like, oh, I'm going to get mocked if I say it wrong, or so you don't even try at all. But like the character, like Vinny's character, I don't know, like I just feel like it's good. It's shone a light onto, this problem that so many islanders do have, that aren't born in the islands or grow up speaking the language, or,
It's buzzy, like, just how on point the casting was, because I think meeting this guy, like I wouldn't think like he could relate to it that much, but then after obviously hearing like his background story, like you get it. For myself with Maka, we're hella similar. To be honest, I really am the Maka in my family. Like I am that guy that doesn't know when to sit down and shut his mouth. But also as an artist, and talking about like having no funds, like my family is forever rolling their eyes at me because I'm always like getting them on my projects, like, okay, you're going to be doing catering. Can you pick up the catering at this time and drop it off? Or like, can you jump into hair and makeup? Or you're a mean dancer, like you're a stylist. Like I'm always pulling on everyone to come on board. And then next minute we've got like a crew of 40 people. And like even short films sometimes don't even have that many people, So very blessed to have my family support, but also very bots sometimes. I think the way that Maka loves his culture and loves being Tongan, I definitely am 100 about that. His Tongan is probably better than my Tongan in terms of just knowing and understanding the language. but he doesn't have an off button. So that's probably one of like the key differences between myself and Maka. But yeah, it's funny when I read the character description, and I guess when they were casting and doing auditions, like I did feel, I was like, what the, like this, honestly, I couldn't have written a better character that I wanted to play for my first ever acting role, you know, and to get that, yeah, at the level that obviously Red, White and Brass is, and how successful it's been. It's buzzy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I played the role Terrence, the wannabe gangster.
Twins.
I don't know. Oh, shucks, can I resonate with him? Nah. But as a kid growing up South Auckland, shucks, I think, yeah, where I grew up, every little kid wanted to be a gangster, you know, and I guess that just reflected, I guess, the youth that was in the communities at the time, still sort of. But yeah, once you see the film, you'll realize that there's a Terrence in every family. My Tongan side, all my first cousins, they're all Terrences. So when I got the role, it wasn't too far fetched to kind of get into that character, because I just kind of looked back on all the dudes that I knew that were like that, and it's like, yeah, sweet, cool. I just put on that, and he's a bit of this, he's this, yeah. And it was fun. It was mean because I was just channeling all those dudes. I was like, yeah, man. So, and then at the time of filming, I was like, flip, I hope I didn't get rushed in the street.
It was funny as we were filming this once. Was it Poridoa? And we went to Macca's, and this dude rocked up like in his gears still. And we were like looking at him, we were like, gee, what if you actually get like, this is like mob territory. This is like, you might actually get rushed.
Like, oh, shucks. Yeah, Poridoa, one of the scenes we're doing out there, and I was having a coffee. I'm still in my oar. I was blue out, man. And it was like, I think that area is like red. And then I have my coffee looked up, and there was a car full of red, like dudes in red, just eyeing me out. And I was like, turn around, walk back to the unit. I was like, flip, man.
But I think that's why Red, White and Brass is doing so bomb, because everyone can relate to each character. Like there's one of those characters like Terrence, Avenia, Maka, and Irene, like in every single not just Tongan families, but
hard. Like every island family, like you can
got those ones.
Hard. We'll quickly take a break.
Yo.
And then we'll get back into it. Back in the Class Podcast, back after this.
Yo.
Yep.
Something caught you by surprise and see me coming. Couldn't leave the game alone because it's needing me.
Welcome back to the Back of the Class Podcast. We are here with the brother Stallone. Can you please introduce yourself?
Well, Tala Flava, my name is Stallone Waiaonga Yoasa. He's a writer and director for film.
So you directed already some films like Take Home Pay, Hibiscus and
Ruthless.
Yeah. How is that different to this one, the Red, White and Brass?
It's different, I guess, in production-wise. I guess our stuff was self-funded, and so that comes with its own, I guess, challenges in terms of what you can write or what you can make. Red, White and Brass is it's awesome that it was fully funded, and it's amazing that they could have a proper, I guess, full conventional crew. And you know, and for the scale of that story, you know, it definitely required the budget. You know, you're telling a story about during the Rugby World Cup, you know, and it takes place in a stadium, and it will have all those background actors, stuff like that. And
True,
so
that, yeah.
Whenever you do, I guess, a self-funded or really low budget film, you just have to sort of write to your budget, and you don't have that same sort of scale. When we did Three Wise Cousins, one of my original plan or dream was that it took place in a village, and the village was full. So it was like the whole village was helping the main character, Adam, but I couldn't afford it, so it was just two cousins.
True. Yeah. That's interesting. So for this movie, you were on distribution?
Yep. So for Red, White and Brass, I guess myself and Amber Rose, you know, we've been distributing our own films, and we got caught in, I guess, initially in sort of consultancy capacity. It's just to see it, how we felt about the film, and this was probably at the script stage, even before production began, even before casting, and then it sort of developed from there to become on as a proper co-distribution. So in many ways, we understand that Pacific market, you know, and how it works here in Aotearoa and here in Australia and through the Pacific. But it's just, I guess, providing a really strong Pacific lens, you know, being able to be in those conversations and asking questions about, you know, how to best to approach and to ask, and when we didn't know, to make sure that we found out what the proper protocol, especially because, you know, my sister and I, we're not Tongan, but we definitely know that there are protocols and things you need to take into account when dealing and connecting with the Tongan audience.
Yeah, that's mad. Shout out to sister who doesn't want to come on camera. What was your biggest challenges of like distribution for, I guess, when you're a Tongan film and you're trying to appeal to a worldwide audience? What was one of the challenges you faced in that?
Yeah, I guess with Red, White and Brass, you know, we always felt the Tongan audience was the primary audience. Yeah, there's no question about that. And we always felt that was a sort of a priority. But, you know, when you're sort of in the film distribution game, you know, you need to try and maximize your audience as much as possible. And I guess fortunately for Red, White and Brass, I feel it's a strong Tongan story. But its other sort of amazing attribute is that it's a universal story. It crosses over.
Yeah.
And that it appeals to an audience outside of the Pacific as well. You know, and it's very rare to get, I guess, based on a true story, something about rugby, and it's an underdog story as well. And it's, you know, it's what we call a 4-quadrant film. It appeals to young, old, and male and female audience.
That's mad. How did you get into all of the film and the film game? Because I mean, it's fairly new, right? I might be talking out of school, but you know, growing up, it was all just you wanted to go to Hollywood, like, you know, if you were doing any type of media. But I don't know about you, but for me, it sort of seems like the lens has changed a bit. Like the cool guys used to be Hollywood, they might still be, but for what I see, like the cool guy, like it's cool to do your own thing now. You know, write your own stories, tell your own stories, like your own people's stories. How do you balance that?
I think it's when we made Three Wise Cousins, I always felt that, you know, when I crunched the numbers and I thought, okay, I've spent this amount of money to make the film, how much would I need to make back at the cinema? You know, and is the audience big enough? So, for example, in Aotearoa, there's about 380,000 Pacific people, and then you're trying to be real conservative and, you know, real harsh in terms of how many of those would actually want to come to the movie. Yeah, and so when you start to crunch all those numbers, I felt, oh, look, I think this is doable at the very least. You know, especially at that time, there were very few Pacific films. I think the only one before that was The Orator, and before that were the two Siones sequels. So there were very few Pacific films that came out often enough to prove to the industry that there was a Pacific audience. But I always felt there was, you know, and so all I had to do, so Three Wise Cousins was only allowed one screening, and one cinema, only, you know, only one Hoyts in Sylvia Park. He said, look, I watched your film, it's a good film. Is it for me? No, but yes, I know there's an audience for it, but look, I can give you this one screening, and if it sells well, then I'll give you another one. So fortunately, the trailer had been out for about a year by then, and when I went onto Facebook and said, hey, there's one screening, I don't know if we'll have another one, you know, and then it sold out within like 2 hours. So he was like, oh, okay, I'll give you another one, sold out again. So by the end of the day, he realized, oh, okay, I'm going to give you the whole weekend, I'm going to put it on the screens. And then the other cinemas saw that, because they all keep track of what each one's doing. And so within the space of a week, you know, it became very clear that there was a Pacific audience willing to show up if the films are there. And I think that's what's changed. I think they've realized that there is a commercial, just a film that is culturally relevant can still be commercially successful. And, you know, you don't have to travel to Hollywood to make it work. And if anything, more importantly, you kind of want to always maintain control, you know, of that story. And control not just in the story in terms of the creative, but also how the money works.
That's interesting, because those are things we don't see. You know, we just see the end product, and it's good to hear the ins and outs of what you guys are going through, crunching numbers. You know, it's just not just pull out of a video and start recording. You know what I mean, like this. But yeah, Adam, did you have something you want to ask too?
Yeah, just in terms of when you filmed Hibiscus and Coast, Hibiscus and Ruthless, you know, obviously you have a main character in there that's not of Pasifika background. What was the biggest challenge there, like trying to get her to try and portray the island lifestyle, or live in a house where it's, you know, where the kids were raised, islander values?
I guess what was awesome about Ruth was played by an actor called Anna Marie Thomas, and she was amazing. I think she was she did an amazing audition, and her background is actually she grew up on a dairy farm in Canterbury. So the whole idea of sort of being able to do fowls and all that sort of stuff that we put her through. We gave her a few opportunities to do the I think it was a kongai and go and that was easy for her.
True.
Yeah. So and she was really talented in terms, very dedicated to the craft. Really finding the character and breaking it down. So she did a lot of the hard work in terms of asking the right questions. If she's a young Balingi girl who grew up in a Pacific Island household, what would she be like by the time she was 18? So so it wasn't hard in terms of that. It just shows that when you cast correctly, a lot of the hard work's done.
What are some of the things you look for when people audition for, like when you cast roles?
When we cast roles, we try and find, depending on what we've written, but generally we try and find someone who's very close to the role that's been written. And then second to that is that ensuring, as best we can, that we are casting someone who is willing to put in the work. There's a lot of talent out there, but if the talent doesn't show up on time, it doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
So and that's you got to still have that work ethic. You still have to respect what's required of you on set. Because we can have everything set, have all the contingency, but if your actor's not there, you can't do anything, and it's very expensive if for whatever reason your actor is just not willing to put in the work. Because getting the role is one thing, but there's still a lot of work to do then, and it's one giant, very highly clinical schedule, and to have any part of it sort of delay, it just has a really big effect on the rest of the production, and a real costly one at that. And you feel it a lot more, especially on a self-funded, when that's your money. It's on the way.
True.
That's sorry kids, no Christmas this year, mate.
Yeah, so if you're one of those guys that goes in the dark alley and buys your DVDs of an Asian guy, don't do that.
Piracy, I think there was definitely a difference between Three Wise Cousins in 2016 when it came out, and Hibiscus and Ruthless were in 2018. In terms of Facebook and Facebook Live.
Yeah, I was going to say, do people even do that? Like,
did you
still do that?
Did you do Take Home Pay as well?
Yeah, and the Take Home Pay was our third film. Yeah, and so even by Take Home Pay times, it was just interesting, the change in technology in the space of 3 years, in terms of live streaming. And, we said one particular premiere in this particular location, they wouldn't say, and
say it.
We saw...
Say it. Give us a clue.
Okay, fine, it was in Samoa. but it was actually here in New Zealand, at our premiere, someone recorded at our premiere. Oh. And we remember after premiere, big celebration, got home, looked on IG, and we're like, oh my gosh, the whole film's up. And it's that's the sort of other flip side of in terms of telling our stories, and it's how our people, shall we say, interpret intellectual property. It's a different mindset around it, and something you do have to take into account. And you sort of have to just continue to be gentle and soft in terms of just appealing to people to respect it and to, seize the opportunity. And being able to watch it in cinema with your own people is a very unique experience. I think that's what made Three Wise Cousins the success it was that people were able to enjoy a film in a true Pacific context. And that's not something you get maybe with your Marvel films.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's mad. I better put some context behind my joke, because in Campbelltown, where you guys are staying, there used to be like this little computer shop that you could go in, and at the back you were selling DVDs, like just pirated DVDs. This was like 2014, 13. So there's nothing about the Asian people.
He turned it into a restaurant.
Now he's like a full-on restaurant.
Yeah, I was eating it yesterday.
Quickly tell us about the reception you guys have had for Red, White and Brass.
Reception for Red, White and Brass has, we always, once we saw the film, we always knew it was going to connect with the Tongan audience, and it was important that we, took every opportunity to reach out to that particular audience and to the wider community. And it's one thing we know, even though as a Samoan, we know that a Tongan way of doing things is different, and it's always the sense of mawhana is probably the thing that we learnt the most about that, and we had to really ensure that our approach to taking the film to the people was a reflection of that. So, you know, nothing's done by halves, and whenever possible, you know, yeah, you go all out as much as you can.
Yeah, I said it last night. Like Tongans, they know how to like back their own. You know what I mean? So whenever there's something on, like Tongan, all the Tongans show up, show out, and that's like you see it all over the world. You know what I mean? So like shout out Tonga, man, always putting on for their people. You know what I mean? So thank you, brother, for coming on.
you. Yeah, thank you.
you for your time. Congratulations on all the success. I'm sure there's more coming. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
There's a movie coming of did you say last night there's going to be a Toa Samoa one?
Yeah, the Toa Samoa one. Yeah. No.
When you win the World Cup, we'll make a movie about you. I'm going to play Junior Polo.
That guy's
Okay,
known as
start
the
cut.
fake facts guy. Don't listen to anything he says.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah, but I think it's if you wrote a story about it, you know, there's nothing that should be considered unattainable. You know, if there's someone watching and you want to do a Toa Samoa story, you do it. You do one about the Manu Samoa in 1991. Yeah, go for it.
Mad. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen,
I love it.
thank you. Quickly about the movie. What can the people expect?
You can expect to be moved, I guess, especially if you're Tongan. Moved in the way that you connect to like the messages of the film, and especially how we captured that feeling of mawhana.
What is mawhana?
Yeah, but heaps of people have been asking about it, and we've been talking about it in every single interview, and in every single interview my answer changes. But because it's hard
And
to
that's
put
what
into
mawhana
words.
is.
And that's exactly what mawhana is. It changes depending on where you are and who you're with. It's hard to put into words, but it really is that feeling of like joy, excitement, passion, pride, just, I guess, all in one. And it reaches like that pinnacle moment where you're literally going to be moved to jump on a chair, give some money that you don't have to the taolonga in front of you. But yeah, it's just that warm feeling that you have when you're really proud and seeing your family or your friends achieve something or resonates with especially your culture. That's why, you know, the fact that there's a lot of Tongan being spoken in the film. We have a Tongan hymn in the film, and it's Tongan through and through, and people can connect to that, and it makes them feel mawhana. So it definitely gives that sense of feeling mawhana, lots of laughs, and heartfelt moments.
That's
He's like, that's not what I got, though.
That's not how I felt when I watched it.
no. Like it's because I was wondering because like mawhana, that I had heard the term a lot, and then now it's nice to actually hear that what it means, and then it changes as well. What's the significance of the brass band in Tongan culture?
It's massive in Tonga, eh?
Yeah, it's
It's huge.
Every church.
Yeah, every
Every
church.
school.
They have like, so, because I've never been to Tonga, but I know that that's such a massive culture, and that even musically, Tongans are, hard out talented. They have their, I think it's called, I don't know the word for it, you might know the word for it, the numerical system for how they read.
Like they even have their own scale.
Yeah, scale.
For
How they read music.
But like, yeah, the band culture it's massive. It's an integral part of Tongan culture. I think it's just one of those things that you don't even really realize it until someone brings it up or it's missing from a significant cultural event. Every Christmas, every school reunion, every church function, there's always a brass band there. And especially in Tonga, around Christmas time, the youth group will go around with the band. The band or the youth group from the church will go around to different houses in Tonga and play, especially for the oldies that can't leave the house.
True.
Yeah, so it means a lot. And there was a really nice article written by Alice Lolohea. She works with Tangata Pacifica, and she said that she could connect with the film because she and so many others in her family played an instrument or were part of a brass band in Tonga, and very much that same story of like, no, you're going to play the brass instrument, like you're going to have to be part of the band, and you have to go and wear this uniform and march down and play on Sunday. Like you don't really have a choice. But with that comes like, that feeling of like collectiveness and everyone being together.
Yeah, that's mad. Because I heard someone say like the king always had his own brass band everywhere he went, and
Yeah, the royal
they
brass
always
band.
played for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was interesting.
So anything the king has, everyone else wants to copy it. So it's everything. The king has his own royal brass band, and they play it every royal ceremony or anything to do with the royal family.
Mad. Quickly, what was your guys' favorite thing about the tour or filming the movie?
Favorite thing.
If you can pick one.
Favorite.
I think my favorite was the what's it called, Sydney Film Festival, the one at the State Theatre.
Yeah.
State Theatre. Yeah, that one, because it was like packed out as well, and it was majority Palangi people there. There were heaps of like islanders as well, but yeah, that was one of the first screenings I had been to where it was majority like Palangis, and we got like a fat standing ovation as well for that. And that was like another, because yeah, we had the Wellington premiere all the way back in March. So like the feeling is kind of like, you know,
It's my fun right there.
yeah, drop. But then yeah, seeing it again, experiencing like people experiencing the film for the first time and watching their reactions was that was like, holy hecker, this is solid.
Yeah.
That's mad, eh?
Similarly, but I think, and there's been so many beautiful moments, I think, with the screenings. One that stood out for me the most was we had the Hawaii screening. So I was there with the Tonga sisters and my cousins on my Wolfgram side, and they were doing the most for me, like while we were over there, my auntie Teresia. But we came out of the cinema and everyone was dressed in their red. They had their own festival banner, not my auntie and stuff. It was the festival, they had the Hawaii festival banner, and they went and put a red, white and brass banner that they made themselves and put it over the Sydney one. I was like, man, but seeing that, and then we were taking photos and stuff, and then they broke out in the hymn, and Himi Tata Whā, which is the one that you always hear, is the Eki Ko Whā. Yeah, that was a beautiful moment, and you just hear everyone like yelling, singing at the top of them. Yeah, it was yelling, because it was that loud. Like singing at the top of their voices, like, and just giving thanks and feeling my whana. And then honestly, there was like this lady that pops up and she reminded me from Karen from the movie.
Oh no.
And she's like, you need to move. I was like, man. Yeah, that was definitely a stand-up. But there's been so many, man. It's hard to choose.
Oh man, I think mine would be the school screening we had at Sylvia Park. A lot of schools came through, and that response was crazy, man. They loved it, and especially because my students from Rewa High came through. So my class of boys rocked up, man, and shucks, for me, if I was their age and I had a teacher, and we went to his movie, shucks, I'd probably feel stoked, eh? So for them to come watch and support, it was nice. It was a nice feeling for them to see kind of what I do outside of work, because I'm sure before that they were just like, it's just another teacher. It's just
Stuff you, sir.
Yeah, sir, man. I know you vape, sir.
I see you when you go out the gates over there.
These guys, man. It was a blessing, man. So yeah, shout out to my Te Aroha students. Let's go.
Shout out to your students, man. It's good that they see you like, you're in school helping them out, but they see you like, chasing your own dreams on the side too, which is important.
And after they watched that, I just got she's up all over everywhere.
You're like, you're missing the message.
Yeah, I know, man. And I'm not even Sir or Hans anymore. It's just Terrence. Terrence.
Yeah, I was gonna call you guys by your screen names, but in closing, like if you guys can just give a bit of advice to, I usually say to someone young, but I just feel if whoever you feel like you should talk to, and whatever you feel like you should say. There's your camera over there, and your guys' one is right there.
Message out there for anyone. I guess anyone that wants to do anything that they're dreaming about. Like we said before, gotta love it. Have a massive passion for it, and it's not even just for the young people. It's never too late. If you think that it's your time now, it's your time now. If it's not, hey, all in God's timing, man. But when your time comes through, do not miss the opportunity, man. Run it straight and take it all.
I think for myself, and probably because it probably relates to my own journey, is like for anyone that's struggling to figure out what they want to do. I think like deep down you actually know what you want to do, whether you want to be a singer, you want to be a dancer, an entertainer, doctor, lawyer, clothing designer, like deep down you know what you want to do. So just put your best foot forward and don't worry about what anyone else has to think about. What you're doing, you do it because you love it, and you reach out to those that will support you no matter what. And just stay for facts, never pelu.
Never pelu.
Yeah, I think, my advice is pretty much the same. Man. You just got to back yourself. Like, Yeah, whatever situation you're in, just have the confidence to know, like, you know, you got what it takes, you got the chops, like, why can't it be you? You know, there's like, you see all these people on screen, you see all these people doing well, and it's like, it can be you as well. Like, you just have to work, you just have to want it. So yeah, it just comes down to, I guess, finding your why, you know, understand why you want to chase what you're trying to chase. Because yeah, if your why is strong enough, nothing will hold you back. Nothing's going to stop you. You're going to get to where you want to be no matter what. So yeah, figure out your why and then just run it.
It's like that quote, like the world belongs to the kids who jump, you know, who are willing to take that leap of faith.
Yeah, have to.
And also to like the friends and family of those who are brave enough to chase their dreams, you know, to really support them. And you don't necessarily have to be their number one fan publicly, but if they feel that you have their back and that you support them, whether it's small things like helping them out to make their job easier and what they're trying to do, because it takes a lot, then that's a lot of support. And if you have nothing nice to say, keep it to your damn self.
Even just like words of just that quick affirmation, like, oh, yo, just like keep going, keep pushing. Like that goes a long way. Yeah. Like as Islanders, we like to joke around a lot and like to like, you know, there's the whole culture of putting each other down. Like, hey, trying to be an actor, what a bots. But you know, just that, docs. Like,
and it's so funny, like that you say that, because now that I'm doing music and acting, so many people have said to me, man, you're always supposed to be doing this. Like, it was clear from when you were little, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And I was like, that's funny then, because why did you make it so hard for me to get there?
Why do you support me now?
Supposed to be. Why was it that I have to go to Holland back?
I was supposed to do this.
No.
No, that's so true, So the movie's showing here in Australia now. So go out and see it at selective cinemas. So go to the link on the Instagram and you can find out where it's showing. Boys, thank you for coming on. I know you guys are super busy. We appreciate your guys' time. Congratulations, success of the movie.
Sure, brother. Thank you.
Thank you so much, man.
It's a ripper movie. So if you get a chance to go watch the movie, go do it. And they talk about on there, you know, if you want to see more of these movies, you need to go watch it and pay to watch it. Don't get in the piracy game, and you know, because at the end of the day, you're hurting your own people. And so, if you want to support your own people, and you, like you say you do, go support the movie. 10 out of 10 from me. Boys, thank you for coming on. Red, White, and Brass, the boys.
Let's go.
Back class
We
podcast. We out.
Hello.
Peace.
Suffocating the game, I can't let it breathe. And it's the long way and keep your shine brief. All the haters like fake, deep down they do believe. Boy, it's never too late, you should get that degree. That ain't your whip, that's a leash. At least you can cut all your losses. Not everyone can be the boss, but send me a decent deposit. My pen just might make you a star. Honey,